Hey YouTube, right here. And today I want to go ahead and talk about the whole Brexit situation, how that's been going, and the absolute hilarity that I'm seeing with the entire shit show that is Brexit. Now, I'm not one of those people that's saying that the UK should remain or anything like that. No, I'm fully for them heading out, striking out on their own, saying fuck the EU, because quite frankly, I don't even recognize the EU as any level of authority. In all honesty, quite frankly, they're nothing more than a group of thugs or mafia members that have just gone ahead and taken over multiple countries. That's all there is to it. They're unelected. They're not able to be held to account. The people aren't able to overturn their rulings. They just decide things. That's not okay. You have to at least have some level of democracy. They're sitting there trying to say that they're a democracy. They're not. They're not a democracy in any way, shape, or form. They are missing all the main elements of being a democracy. The only way that you can even say that they're even remotely close to a democracy is that it's multiple people involved. But the hilarity that I'm seeing here is the whole divorce bill thing. How it started out at 50 billion, now it's up to 100 billion. And they have no authority to force the UK to pay. The UK can just sit there, flip them the bird, and go, fuck off. And that's what the UK is going to do as long as little Cuck Corbyn doesn't get put in. Which, it's looking like he's not going to. Just talking to random people from the UK is making that pretty self-evident. I've only talked to one supporter from the UK, and I've been going out and looking for people from the UK to go ahead and let me know. I've only found one. I'm sure this video is going to get, one or two more that are sitting there and, oh, well, yeah, no, I'm all for Corbyn, fuck Theresa May. The thing is, though, at that point, you were still a minority. And I know that in your little brain, you're thinking, oh, well, I'm a minority. That means I should get more say. No, that's not how it fucking works. It's majority rules, bitch. That's how democracies work. Now, if you got a problem with that, go somewhere without a democracy. No wonder why you want to stay in the fucking EU. I mean, a cuck definitely loves to be told what to do. So I get it. I understand. But the thing is a lot of people don't do that. And yes, I use the term cuck as an insult. Yes, I do legitimately use it as an insult. It's not, just me trolling. Because the thing is quite frankly, a cuck is not a man to me. You're not. Just pure and simple. You're not a man. You're... Hell... you wouldn't even qualify as a boy to me, because even a boy is going to realize, hey, this ain't right. You're like maybe one stage above vegetative as far as mental capacity. So, whatever. But, I think it's funny that the EU is sitting there and trying to say that the UK needs to continue to support them for the next few years, because that is the lifestyle to which the EU has become accustomed. And that is funny. Now, anyone who knows their legal history will know exactly what I'm fucking talking about. And here's one last hint for those of you who are sitting there going, duh, I don't know what that means. Here's where I'm coming from. Just look at divorce law. Look at the basis of alimony. Why alimony was created. Look at the legal reason for alimony. I'll wait. Honestly, go ahead and look it up. Alright, you back? Alright, cool, awesome. Now, can you see why it's so fitting that this is called a divorce bill? Yes, that is exactly it. Now, here's the problem. the UK is trying to sit there and say that they will sue. Not the UK, the EU is saying that they will sue the UK. But here's the thing. What governing body is there that the UK has to bend a knee to? That the UK has to accept the ruling? What will the punishment be if the UK doesn't? See, no one's asking those questions, really. I know Sargon kind of touched on it and to ask the question. But the thing is honestly, who's there? Oh, a court set up by the UN, which is technically neutral. You know what? My cock is technically 10 inches long. If you consider the part that's up inside of my body as well. Doesn't mean that it's functionally 10 inches long. Now, here's the problem with that. What is the punishment going to be? What, is the UK going to be kicked out of the UN? Oh, poor UK. They don't have to sit there and listen to women go up there and talk about how people saying mean words to them is worse than people starving to death or dying from dehydration or disease in developing countries. Oh, the poor UK not having to go through that drivel. Oh, the poor UK not having to listen to a woman go up there saying that women are strong and independent and don't need anyone, but they need the men's help to go ahead and prove that they're strong and independent and don't need anyone. That they need men to stop competing so women can succeed. Yeah. So, I'm not seeing a real bad thing about the UK not being part of the UN anymore. In fact, I really wish the US would get out of the UN. But here's the thing. If people want to go ahead and stay in the EU, I recommend you go ahead and you move out right now. Because this exit is happening. Because the thing is one way or another it's happening. You're either going to have people rioting in the streets and just not obeying any of the fucking laws, and absolute mayhem break out in the UK if by some fucked up circumstance Corbyn gets in and cancels the referendum. Just goes straight the fuck against it. Or, if for some odd reason, something comes along and the UK is told that they have to stay in the EU and they try to keep them in by force. It doesn't fucking matter at this point. The exit is happening, whether it be just socially and politically and economically. It's going to fucking happen. Because say what you will about Britain, but the thing is once they say that they're doing something, they tend to stick to their guns. They don't tend to falter on it. And given how little support Corbyn has, even if they pull some fucking bullshit and rig the election or whatever, it's still not going to go over well. Now, as far as the whole trade deal and all that, I don't really foresee it working out too well for anyone involved. Because the thing is you've got the EU, who's at this point basically looking at Merkel going, what should we do? And Merkel sitting there being a typical bitter woman. I'm specifying bitter there because the thing is, again, no women are like that. Fuck. But a typical bitter woman, like the woman who's getting divorced because she got caught fucking cheating, and now she's pissed off at the guy for divorcing her for her cheating and him not just looking the other way on it. We're talking that level of fucking bitter. Alright? You got her on one side, and then you got another woman on the other side sitting there going, no, you're the one who fucking did this. You're the one who put this whole thing into motion. This is all because of your actions. I don't have any fucking blame on this. I'm trying to be civil here. If you're not going to be civil, I'm just going to turn around and walk away and leave you with jack shit, fuck all, nothing. Merkel's used to dealing with guys in situations like this. She's used to dealing with guys who feel like they have to kneecap themselves to make the fucking plane even. Well, the thing is that's the problem. When a woman goes up against another woman, she tries the same shit she tries on a guy, it doesn't work. And then they sit there and go, but this always works. Yeah, because you're used to going up against guys who purposely hold themselves back. Other women don't feel the need to hold themselves back. So, you've got this situation going on, and you've got a whole bunch of people caught in the middle. We'll call them the kids in the divorce. Well, the thing is at this point, the sad part is neither one of the parents want the kids. You know, let's be perfectly honest. The EU doesn't want the kids because the whole thing about this is the EU's trying to get the kids forcibly transferred into the custody of the UK. The UK saying, no, I don't want custody of those kids. Those aren't my kids. Fuck off. I'm not going to be responsible for them and deal with them messing up my fucking house. The ones that you've already sent over have fucked up the entire works. So this is like a reverse custody court battle, and it's fucking awesome to watch. Now, I think it's absolutely hilarious that the UK has all of the playing cards here. I don't see a single thing that the EU has over them, because if the EU goes ahead and puts tariffs on it, it's going to only be on exports. So it's not going to be the UK that ends up paying for them, because if the price gets too fucking high, people aren't going to pay. That's how capitalism works. So the thing is if the EU imposes tariffs, then they're going to be trying to choke out the UK, typically with the automotive industry, because they have Germany, and Germany does put out a lot of cars. Say what you will about Germany, but they make some pretty good cars. But the thing is the UK can go ahead and put its own sanctions into place, sitting there and putting tariffs in to where, food and so on and so forth has to go ahead and be tariffed. And at that point, the EU is going to find itself in a really fucked up position. Because either they then demand that their own countries lower their own prices and basically make the farmers into paupers, and then force them to continue farming at a loss, which will then end up costing the EU government money, so that way they can just feed their people, or they're going to have to pay those absorbent prices, which are going to then counter out the tariffs that they put onto the automotive aspect from Germany. So no matter how you look at this, the UK at the very worst comes out even, but more than likely comes out ahead, because here's the thing. The UK also has car companies that make cars, so they can just sit there and just outprice in their own country and become independent in that way. So then what happens if the EU puts tariffs on for metals and such? Well, then again, you have food tariffs that can be put into place. And if the EU is sitting there and specifically targeting the UK, they cannot then bitch and complain that the UK is specifically targeting them with tariffs. So right now, the EU has no bargaining chips. The UK is really in control of this. A lot of people are trying to say that the UK is not in control of it, that they're screwed. And I'm like, no, that's not the case. And here's the big one. Here's the really big one. The EU is trying to exert authority that it does not actually have. And then they're trying to say that they're not authoritarian, when they're trying to tell the UK how the UK is going to exit. That's not how this works. You don't tell someone how they can walk out the front door to never come back. That doesn't fucking work. If you tell them to walk through slowly and they're pissed off enough at you, not only are they not going to walk through slowly, they're going to bolt through and close that door so fucking fast that it comes off the fucking hinges. And there's nothing you can do about it. Not without starting a physical altercation, which we already know the EU is more than willing to do. But if the EU goes ahead and tries to go to war with the UK, you already know the US is going to jump in. And the EU doesn't want that. And not to mention that might bring back some bad memories for Germany, going, oh, we're starting up a war on multiple fronts. Oh, shit. This is not a good idea. So, here we are. We've got several other countries in the EU that are already pissed off at the EU, that if it really comes push to shove, won't stand with the EU. They will stand with whatever opposition is going against the EU. You've got the UK, who's already fucking exiting, who's holding all the fucking playing cards. The only option left for the EU, if they want to try to stop this, is military force. And their military isn't finished being built yet. So if they start a war right now, they're going to have a motherfucking problem. Other countries have been beefing up their military forces either because of this threat or because of other threats that are going on, and they can utilize those resources against the EU. At which point you're also going to have them still having their internal problems with the whole jihadi thing going on in their country, which will then pick up because they're going to take money from their policing forces to go ahead and put into the military force. So then they're going to get eaten alive from the inside. No matter how you look at this, the EU loses. And even if the EU was to somehow manage to fight everyone off, it would be in such a weakened state that any other group that wants to come through can just decimate them. So no matter what, the EU is done when it comes to that choice. So they're not going to make that choice. They're going to sit there, they're going to try to exert authority that they don't have, and they're just going to continue to make an ass out of themselves. And they're going to lose more and more and more support. The EU is killing itself with its own authoritarian bullshit. And I have to laugh as I watch this happen. It's amazing to watch an idiot eat themselves alive. And the thing is that's the EU. They're the fucking town drunk getting into a fight with a non-existent entity that they're hallucinating is there. But the thing is it's an overlay over someone who's easily able to kick their fucking ass, who has reached the end of their patience. That is what's going on here. And I love watching that type of shit. I love watching the dumbass get their ass kicked. One of my favorite videos to watch online is someone sitting there, you know, some scrawny little bullshit motherfucker that thinks he's tough shit because everyone else is, in the past has you know, held back against them because they're so small and that sort of thing. Going up against someone who's finally had enough of it and just doesn't give a fuck, who just turns around and body slams them into the ground, and watch them go running off to the teacher going, "He was mean to me." It's funny as fuck to watch that shit. I love watching those videos. And the thing is this is just a prolonged video of that. Now, you can sit there, you can say I'm an asshole all you want, because I am an asshole. Fine, I own it, you know? Go for it. Yes, I am an asshole. Thank you for using my proper term. But the thing is I'm not going to stop laughing at this. Because I know no matter what direction this goes in, the EU's taking it up the ass in the end. I already know the end of the fucking movie. So now I'm just watching to see how it gets to that point. That's the thing. I love watching this. The only way that this can be brought to a halt is if the UK gets Corbyn in and they go full-fledged totalitarian. But like I said, at that point, they're going to have an uprising. So no matter how you look at it, it's going to end up bad for the EU. Because either the EU ends up being the bad guy, or the EU ends up getting its ass handed to it. And the thing is, as soon as the EU becomes bad guy, then all of a sudden, now they're an international threat. And every other country's going to look at them and go, "Oh, really?" And you know that whole sanction thing? Yeah, that can be used against the EU as well. So, I hope you guys are enjoying watching this right alongside of me. I hope the people over in the UK are laughing their asses off right now. I know it's probably stressful as fuck, but hey, one of the best treatments for stress is laughter. Just go ahead, sit back and laugh. I know it's hard to do while you're in the center of it. I mean, hell, I live in the US. I understand. Trust me. You know, people are sitting back looking on and laughing at our situation. And you know what? It's hard to laugh about our situation, but I have to every once in a while, or else I would go completely batshit insane. Whereas now I'm only about halfway there. But take it from someone who's been dealing with this shit for quite a while, not a lot longer than you guys have, and just take a breath, sit back, laugh at the absurdity of it, and then continue getting business done. But don't forget your laugh breaks. You need those. Have yourselves a good one, people of the UK. My thoughts and prayers are with you, honestly. I hope you end up getting through this relatively unscathed. Yeah, I know you're going to have some bumps and bruises afterwards, but just remember, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.